Hi, welcome to Goodwood Museum and Gardens. I'm Linda Schuyler Ford, your storyteller, and it is December, so I thought I would share a Christmas story with you. This is called Cobweb Christmas. Tanta was a little old lady who lived in a little cottage at the top of a hill beside the forest overlooking a village. Well, nobody knew how old she was. The grandmas and the grandpas in the village remembered her from when they were children, and she was old then. She lived with a dog who kept her company, a cat who curled up on her lap, a rooster who would wake her in the morning, a chicken who would lay an egg for breakfast, and a donkey who lived in the barn up close to her house. With all of the animals and her activity, Tanta's house was not always clean. But at Christmas time, in December, when the frost first began to cover her windows, she said, "It is time to clean for Christmas." Now, Tanta, which means auntie in German, would take the coverlet off her bed, and outside she would shake it until all the dust flew away and the fresh air filled that quilt again. She scrubbed her pots and polished her table, and then with a broom she swept the cobwebs from the eaves of her cottage. When everything was nice and clean, Tanta would say, "Now it is time to fetch Christmas." And she would take a little axe and, putting a jingle bell harness on her donkey, she rode out into the fresh morning forest, through the snow and in and out of the trees until she found the perfect Christmas tree for her house. And then she would cut it down about halfway so that she had the perfect small tree, and the tree in the forest would grow back again for another year. Tanta would strap that tree to the donkey, and she would hop, skip home next to the donkey, plunk that tree down into a pail of water, and then Tanta would say, "Now it is time to bake for Christmas." Oh, and she would bake cookies. Sugar and flour went flying as she mixed and then rolled out the cookies and cut them. She cut them into half moons, which she iced white, and bright stars that she iced gold and yellow. She strung those and hung them all around the tree. She popped popcorn and strung that around too. And then she got sheaves of wheat and tied that up and hung that from the tree, and cut an apple in quarters and tucked the apple into the branches too. And then Tanta would say, "It is time to celebrate Christmas." And she flung open her door, and the children from the village ran up that slick, icy hill, laughing and giggling and falling down and getting up and running some more. They crowded into Tanta's house. Oh, they sang songs, they ate the cookies, they danced around the tree, they gave some of the wheat to the donkey, and threw seeds and popcorn out for the rooster and chicken. They gave treats to the dog and cat, and they sang some more. And then they went home because Kris Kringle would be coming that night to leave little treats for them. The children waved bye to Tanta and headed home. And with a heart filled with all of the Christmas magic that she had created, Tanta petted the donkey and helped him bed down in his stall for the night. The rooster and the chicken, their tummies full, happily snoozed, and with a fire roaring in the fireplace and the dog beside her and the cat in her lap, Tanta sat in her rocking chair and rocked and smiled and rocked and smiled, thinking about the Christmas magic that she had created yet another year. But Tanta had one other thought. Now, she was a generous woman, but a part of her really longed to have some Christmas magic that was not of her own making. She wanted to see Christmas magic that was truly magic that she did not create herself. And thinking that thought, she fell asleep. Late that night, who came walking through the woods pulling a sleigh full of toys? Because long ago, before the reindeer, that is how Kris Kringle worked in Germany. He pulled a sled full of toys and stuck them in the children's shoes. He passed by Tante's house and peeked in the window and saw her snoozing in front of the fire, and he saw her pretty tree. And then he heard tiny voices saying, "Let me in, let me in, no, let me in, let us all in, we want to go inside." And he looked down, and there at his feet were dozens of spiders that had been swept out of the house with their spider web when Tante cleaned. And they all said, "Everybody celebrates Christmas with Tante, but we're always outside. We want to see the tree." And so Kris Kringle opened the door just a little, and those happy, sweet little spiders scurried into the house and up into the tree. And Kris Kringle went into town to deliver the gifts for the children. When he was done, he made his way back up the hill, and the spiders were still in the tree, crawling in and out of branches, scampering around, smelling those cookies, nibbling on the little bits of crumbs, smelling the beautiful green fir tree, and listening to the crackling of the fire. Up and down, in and out of the branches, they explored every part of that glorious Christmas tree. And by the time Kris Kringle got back to Tante's house, they were content and done looking at the tree, and they stood at the door, and Kris Kringle opened the door, and the spiders scampered out saying, "Thank you, Santa, thank you, thank you, thank you." Kris Kringle paused for a moment, and as his eyes adjusted to the darkness, he saw that in exploring the Christmas tree, the spiders had woven webs all over, gossamer webs that covered the branches, and some strands that dropped down and went back up and made more spider webs. Well, Kris Kringle knew Tante would not like that. She had worked so hard to clean her house. And so he crept in the house quietly and raised his hands, and with Christmas magic turned all of those spider webs into tiny silver threads that glistened in the firelight. And smiling, he crept back out of the house and went on to the next village to deliver presents. As sunlight moved across the land, it shone through the window of Tante's house and woke her up on Christmas morning. She rubbed her eyes and stoked the fire. When she turned to look at the tree, "Oh, look at that, it is Christmas magic. Why, it's covered with beautiful silver threads everywhere, everywhere. Why, that is the most magnificent, beautiful tree I have ever seen. It is my own gift of Christmas magic to me." And she was happy. From then on, every December, when Tante got ready to clean for Christmas, she always made sure that there was still at least one spider web up in the ceiling, so the spiders would have a place to congregate and gather for the festivities. And to this day, many of us still put silver tinsel strands on our Christmas tree, or silvery, glittery cobweb like stars and snowflake looking silver that are all a reminder of Tante and that German Christmas long ago, when Christmas magic was delivered to a sweet old lady who lived on a hill. I wish you all happy, happy holidays.